Thank you. It's good to be with you this afternoon, and it's good to be addressing today this particular subject. And I suppose no subject will have changed so dramatically in the last 10 years since we last met at the Lambeth Conference. Because then, in a sense, interfaith dialogue for many of us was a kind of theoretical and interesting question. But now it really very much is high on the agenda of virtually every bishop in the world, because we mostly now live in a multi-faith environment, and also because of developments in the world in that time, matters of faith and religion have become high on the agenda of politicians as well as bishops. My own situation, I'm Bishop of Southwark in England, which means that my diocese is half of Greater London, and so very much I'm living cheek by jowl in a multicultural, multi-faith environment. Literally, my next door neighbours are members of other faiths, and one is always bumping into people of other faiths. One thing that can't be denied when you're living in that situation is that many of these people are extremely good, devout people who are also wonderful citizens. And the first thing I'd be wanting to say in my situation in Britain is that they have been allies in trying to rebuild community through all the tensions that may have pulled it apart in the last decade or so, 9/11, the war with Iraq, etc. And it's because we do know one another rather well as faith leaders that we can play our part in being the glue which holds society together for the common good. And therefore, the first document, Generous Love, which had been sent to all bishops, an Anglican theology of interfaith relations, is very helpful for me in my situation. And from what I've heard this morning, listening to other bishops from very different situations, it's also helpful to them. And it sets out in a systematic way the particular Anglican approach to interfaith relations based on the experience of 20 years or more around the globe. Of course, we build on what has also come out of the Roman Catholic Church, what has come out of the World Council of Churches. But there's a particular Anglican way of doing things, and our way is being there, being a presence in every community of whatever sort. We're there for the long term. We're there to both witness to our faith, but we're also there to work with others for the common good in serving the community. And of course, we're there in a big way in the world of education and in health. And so this spells out in a helpful way. It's kind of a discussion booklet for bishops to take home and discuss it with their people and build upon it. I think, for me, a good example of what it's saying, we saw last week in the London Day, and I know many of you were involved in the London Day. And you'll remember that in Lambeth Palace, on the platform, when the Prime Minister was speaking, on that platform was the Archbishop of Canterbury, and he obviously had convened all of that. But there was also the Cardinal Archbishop of Westminster, the senior Roman Catholic. There was the Chief Rabbi. There was Injit Singh, a senior Sikh leader. There was Iqbal Sakrani. All the major faiths and denominations were on that platform. And that, I believe, gave us a much greater authority to speak to the politicians of the world, represented by the Archbishop, on the matters of poverty and the Millennium Goals. And the flip side of that was the Prime Minister, any Prime Minister of Britain, I think is more comfortable when he's actually addressing faith matters to a group of faith leaders rather than any particular denomination. We're stronger in pressing our case, and I believe he is more relaxed in responding. And I think it was a very, very good example of how interfaith work can work for the common good. The other document, the Common Word, is a response from the Archbishop to the letter from 138 Muslim scholars and religious leaders, which were sent to the heads of the Christian churches in October 2007. It came out of the response came out of a conference which the Archbishop convened, but he then has written the response. And it's basically saying, yes, we welcome the initiative of the Muslim scholars, that we have got many things in common, we also have got many differences. And it is right to be clear about the things we have in common and what divides us. And at this time in history, this is a time when we can sit down together and wrestle with all of that in an authentic way without any of us losing our integrity. There hopefully will be a follow-up to that later in the year. So this is part of the process. So there's a lot going on, and we're very happy when my colleague has spoken. We're very happy to field any questions that you may find of interest.